is. Probably going on 4 years now.
Right, then we make another selection after that task is complete.
Yes, sir. We're already working on the next.
And so we don't know if we'll get that bid or we still kind of.
It hadn't went out. Hasn't went out to bid yet.
Okay. All right.
Any further questions of Mr. Lee? All right, for staff. I don't even know where I'm at right now.
No, we got to get the vote.
60. No, I know, on that item, I just don't know if we even.
Oh, one more question. Jail, is there a start date?
It'll be determined after we do the contract.
And we do have the money in the budget for this.
I just would like to remind council people that it is perfectly acceptable and also highly encouraged that we do all the legwork and investigatory questioning of city officials and people that work here for the city prior to the council meeting so that we come fully prepared.
I disagree with that, but anyway,
You
questions come up now.
This funding for this project will be ARPA funds. You know, the city received $3.4 million of ARPA funds. We spent a good portion of it on the new meter reading system, and that was for the residential meters. We're working as we can with our H2O staff to continue to put new commercial meters in those with the ARPA funds. But this project, Ruby, Maine, Lewis, Lincoln, and Taylor, is upsizing those water lines in a needed spot that for a long time needed it, but we didn't have any funds. So that was a perfect use of the ARPA money. And we have to have that ARPA money committed by the end of December. So right after, we have plans being drawn up for Irvin and Scriven, which is the next needed area that had been identified. And we'll be putting that out to bid and getting that contract committed as quickly as we can to keep in line with spending and committing those ARPA funds. The contract date will be determined. We have to do the resolution that will authorize the mayor to sign the contract, and then we'll have a meeting with the contractor. And depending on like the lead time for ordering supplies and them getting their labor force organized, that sometimes has, you know, a little bit of control of it when they're actually going to move dirt. But it will take place pretty quickly.
It?
That's it for me.
All right, you've heard staff recommendation. Will it be the pleasure of the council?
Yeah, we already got the motion to say, we just need a vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign? Award bid passes ITB 03-2024. Item 6F.
All right, this one is resolution 2024-33. And, jail, let's see. I don't have a copy of that. It's about the southern corrosion, because mine didn't say that. Anyway,
Yes.
it says 05-2024 here. Tank maintenance services says the lowest and most responsive bid was received from Southern Corrosion in the amount of $68,467. Contract to be awarded is to cover a term of 3 years with a 2-year extension possible and a year-to-year renewal after that. These bids were reviewed by JLE, Joanne Luther, and Sean Connor with our water and wastewater contract objectives. It's recommended to the City Council that we award this contract to Southern Corrosion. And this is to basically take care of our water towers.
title into the record.
Okay.
City Council Resolution number 2024-33, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, accepting the bid from Southern Corrosion Incorporated related to the maintenance of various water towers located within the city of Live Oak, Florida, providing for the award and execution of the contract and providing for the effective date.
All right. You've heard from staff. What will be the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion, resolution number 2024-33 be approved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? 2024-33 approved. Mr. City Clerk, will read final reading, ordinance 1519, and I may have a comment here. Mr. Bradford, is there something you want to speak on?
Any questions?
All right.
This is the final reading of ordinance number 1519, an ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning districts to .812 acres more or less of land in the official zoning atlas of the City of Live Oak, land development regulations pursuant to an application LDR 24-04 by the property owner and/or their authorized representatives under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulation, providing for a change in the assignment zoning district from residential single-family manufactured home 2 to residential office RO on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinance and conflict authority and an effective date.
Mr. President, this will be a quasi-judicial matter, and so I'll swear in unless your clerk wants to swear in. I'll plan on swearing folks in. The first item of business is to determine whether the commissioners have had any ex parte communications. So my suggestion would be to start at the end and just run through with each commissioner to determine whether or not they've had any discussions outside of this evening on this particular matter. And then we'll do the same thing with each one of the quasi-judicial matters that we go.
Yes, sir.
First and last name. Just first, just say name and.
Yes, perfect.
David Alford, no discussion.
Gladys Owens.
Ron Robinson, no.
Tommy Jefferson, no.
Matt Campbell, no.
With that, Mr. President, if anyone plans on testifying about any of the three matters that are before us this evening, if you'll stand up, please, and raise your right hand. And then when you come to the podium, if you'll give your name, of course, like is normal, and so our clerk can take down your name and also which matter you're testifying about. Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. President, all of the individuals who intend to testify this evening have been sworn. We can proceed on.
All right. Any particular order in which we need to proceed, or just?
We're ready to proceed.
I mean, as far as the people testifying.
Yes. Usually what we do is we have the presentation from staff first, and then we have the applicant. That's the normal procedure.
All right. Mr. Curtis?
Thank you. George Curtis, Development Manager, City of Live Oak. This is a second reading on a zone change on Hamilton to enable the property to have a higher density of housing for residential development. This did go before the Planning and Zoning Board, who recommended approval, and also passed the first reading, the last regular meeting. Staff's recommendation is approval for this, and we have not received any feedback as a result of our advertising in the newspaper and the public hearing signage that we have posted at the property.
Mr. Bradford?
I'm representing the property. We're just requesting a zoning change to allow for more housing units to be placed on the property.
Yes,
So we removed a dilapidated mobile home from the property that was not in livable condition, and we completely rehabilitated the first home that was on the property. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but we completely rehabilitate it, obtain a CO and put it on the market for rent, and currently has tenants in it that are happily using it.
Okay. Yes, sir. I don't know the gentleman's name. Do you have something to? Oh,
Yes, I'm Dale
you
Bridges.
can come up to the microphone. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, how you doing? I'm Dale Bridges. I own property exactly right behind here, so I want to be included on the, I'm building a duplex right behind here, so
Okay.
I'm agreeing with.
Okay, you're in support of
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Bradford?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Duly noted. Yes, sir. All right. Ready to proceed? All right, you've heard from staff and you've heard from sworn testimony from witnesses. Will be the pleasure of the council.
Mr. President, I offer that we approve the final reading of ordinance number 1519.
Yes, sir.
Second.
So a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. All right, final reading of ordinance 1519 is approved.
President Campbell, the next item is to also determine if there's any ex parte communication. Get started on that.
All right.
David Alford, no.
Gladys Owens, no.
Ron Robinson, no.
Tommy Jefferson, no.
Matt Campbell, no.
We can read in the title and be either approved or continued or denied.
All right.
Final reading of ordinance number 1520. An ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to .434 acres more or less small scale of land on the future land use plan map of the city of Live Oak comprehensive plan pursuant to an application CPA 24-03 by the property owners and or their authorized representatives. Under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes, as amended in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change to the assigned future land use classification from residential moderate density to residential medium density in certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinance in conflict of authority and effective date.
Well, it's time for staff presentation, and I don't think we have any other witnesses to be sworn.
Thank you, George Curtis, Development Manager, City of Live Oak. This is a part one of a two-part application. The second part will be heard after this, in the event that this one is passed. This is a land use change on the future land use plan map of the comprehensive plan, which is necessary in order to consider the zoning change. That is the next item. This did go before the Planning and Zoning Board as well as the City Council in the last couple of hearings, and was approved as a recommendation, and also during the first vote was approved. Staff's recommendation is approval, and we have not received any positive or negative feedback as a result from our advertising and property posting.
You've heard staff's recommendation. It'll be a pleasure of the board.
Offer motion for ordinance 1520.
Have a motion?
Second.
A second. Any discussion? Hearing or seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1520 is approved.
And again, starting with Councilmember Alford on ex parte.
David Alford, no.
Gladys Owens, no.
Ron Robinson, no.
Tommy Jefferson, no.
Matt Campbell is no.
Please read in the ordinance by title only.
Final reading of ordinance number 1521. An ordinance of the City of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 434 acres more or less of land in official zoning hamlets of the City of Live Oak land development regulations pursuant to an application LGR 24-05 by the property owners and or their authorized representatives under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, provide for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single family to a residential office for certain land within the corporate limits of the city of Live Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinance in conflict, authority, and effective date.
No, for staff.
Mr. Curtis?
Thank you, Development Manager, City of Live Oak. This is part two of a two-part application. This is pertaining to the zoning change on the subject property. And we see this as a transitional area between higher density commercial zoning to the east and lower density single-family zoning to the west and to the north. And the property owner is seeking this zoning change in order to be able to convert the single-family home that is on the property into a duplex, and also to have the option, if they did want to do like in-law cottage or an accessory dwelling unit on the property behind the home, that this zoning would allow for that also. This was recommended by the Planning and Zoning Board for approval. It was passed by the council at first reading, and staff's recommendation is approval, and there has not been any negative or positive feedback received as a result of the advertising and the property posted. And just I'll just note that on all of these, the public hearing signage survived through the hurricane, and so we did verify that the properties were posted properly for this hearing. Thank you.
Sir. All right, for staff's recommendation would be the pleasure of the board.
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 1521.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
President, I compliment your staff, having the aerials and the tax plat overlay and all of that attached to the agenda is very, very helpful in preparation.
Yes, sir, and I'll tell you that I will give more kudos to Mr. Curtis. He's probably one of the best at his job, probably not just in our area, but in the state. He's very, very thorough. I will say that for sure. Does a great job for us. Do we vote? I don't even, okay. I'm over here blowing wind up George's skirt. I don't even know. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Like sign? All right, motion is approved. All right, moving on to the final topic of the evening, discussion with possible council action, the discontinuance use of fluoride in the city's potable water supply. I'm going to start calling individuals up as they signed in this evening. Leading off will be Miss Carol Fontana. You'll have 3 minutes thereabouts, and
Good evening, I'm Carol Fontana. I live at 21181 144th Street, Live Oak. I thank you for readdressing this issue once again, because it is very important, and I hope and pray that you decide to discontinue adding fluoride to the drinking water. You've probably heard these arguments before, but I just thought I'd go over something briefly. We all think, yes, we probably put fluoride in our mouth this morning as we brushed our teeth. A lot of toothpaste contains sodium fluoride. Why not put it in the water? But if you read the label on that toothpaste, it'll say, do not swallow. And they even caution you about having young children use fluoride toothpaste because they're afraid they're going to swallow it. And yet we put it in the drinking water. Actually, we don't put sodium fluoride in drinking water. We usually put it in as a more toxic form, as hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is highly corrosive and, as I said, toxic. This stuff has to be handled so carefully because it even eats through concrete. And yet they put this in our drinking water. And they say you put it at such a low level, it really isn't toxic. But there have been studies that show that even at this low level, it is a neurotoxin. So why is this added? What's the benefit? So fluoride is not added to water to give us cleaner, healthier, better tasting water. No, it's added to medicate everyone who consumes this water, with the hope that these people will have fewer cavities, fewer dental cavities. So this is added to the water, medicating these people without their permission, without doctor supervision, and without dose control. And this is particularly dangerous for infants who consume baby formula mixed with water. and it's shown that this is a neurotoxin, and this can lead to reduced IQ in children. So I can just ask you to please vote to discontinue the use of fluoride in drinking water. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Steve Fontana?
Can I give my time to another person? Is that allowed?
Not really, no, sir, I'm sorry.
I give you 2 for the price of 3. Steve Fontana, also 21181 144th Street, Live Oak. I live in the county, not the city, but we come into the city often, including our church, who's on city water, coffee hour, things like that, and people I know in the city. I care about them. Like my wife, I also disagree with the fluorination of the water, and I really appreciate you coming to this topic again. It really, I'm impressed, actually, and I'm so, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit, get a little bit frustrated with the government sometimes. I feel like people don't listen, things like that, and this was like it was, the clouds cleared and the sky, you know, you guys are actually listening and you're hearing it again, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Basically, I'm not going to go over all the things that fluoride can do to you. We've gone over that and ad nauseum. The one main thing that, and my wife touched on it, is that we all, I believe in individual responsibility, you know, especially for our health and things like that, and to go ahead and take something like this, and even for the good intentions, for the government to put it into the drinking water, it's like, well, are there other things that you're going to want to put in the drinking water for other reasons? And it's just a matter of principle that we should probably let people, you know, get their own information, or maybe even if you wanted to, provide information, but let people make their own decisions about it. And with that said, I just ask you to discontinue fluorination of water in the city of Live Oak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to move to Mr. Kevin Philpott.
Kevin Philpott, 11640 County Road 49, Live Oak. I also live out in the county, however I come into the city to do business, to eat food at restaurants, and of course when I'm here, unfortunately I must consume fluoridated water if I decide to have a glass of water in a restaurant. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for a number of years, and just on a personal level, I've known for many years that fluoride, although it's put in toothpaste, it's not good to drink.